Hello, Gregor. I need
Hi,
just
Anna,
I
and
just
everybody.
few more seconds. Okay?
Okay,
Because I have to share the link to one group of people. Okay? So
sure.
1 second. You can you see the comments section somewhere?
I can see down below it's an icon chat,
Mm-hmm.
and if I go into chat, then there is a session of comments. So I think that's it.
Okay. Let me write a comment and tell me if you see it.
Yes, I think that's the best. Yes, I can see the comments. Yeah.
Great.
Hello back. Hello back to Korzeniak Szkola Tenisa.
Okay, so I will, of course, I will have to translate you too. So sometimes stop so I can translate to
Okay.
Polish. So
Let's give people some time.
yeah, and I will interrupt you a little bit.
Sure, that's a polite interruption. I'll take it.
Okay. So 1 minute. Is there anyone with us? No. Nobody.
I see this application for the first time. StreamYard. Is this popular in Poland to do?
No, it's not Polish. It's popular for people who make presentations online and
Okay.
lives where you can connect streaming to Facebook, to YouTube at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Just need. I'm a little bit nervous.
That's okay. That's a proof that that you are ready to go. You know, for example, this is in our human nature. When we go to the jungle, we are nervous a little bit too because we don't know what to expect, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is like normal. This is just a readiness of the mind and the body. It's also one of the topics.
Yeah, let's say it's more like a new aspects of being a tennis player, making Okay, so I'm sharing the link with some groups which may have not which are not connected now to the YouTube or
Are we live now? We are live, but we are also recording, or how is it?
Yeah, we are live and we record, so this will be sent away anyway. So be careful what you say.
Okay.
Even if we are alone, many people will see that. So
It's live. It's always live. It's always more spontaneous, and it brings out the realest from you. You know, it's much different than record up front. So that's good.
yeah.
No playback. No playback.
Yes. Like in tennis, right?
Exactly. You cannot hide. You cannot hide. You have to go all in.
Yeah, I can turn off my camera. Yeah, but on the match, it's worse. I cannot turn off my camera.
No turning off. Are you following? Are you following Melbourne? What do you think?
About which aspect? Men, women?
Maybe about what is happening with the players. I see that there is every year, because it's the first tournament, there are few new faces in a Grand Slam. Maybe not everybody is the same prepared like they will be in French Open. It's a start of the season. Some of them, they had very good preparation period. Some of them they didn't had, and it's really a question who is in the good condition right now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel sorry for Djokovic about his injury at the moment. So that's very sad because he looked very committed, and cooperation with Murray was looking very good. He liked it, and they the beating Alcaraz in 3-1. It's a great achievement, I think. Wow, we have two people, or it's me, or it's me being on every channel of streaming, checking if it's working. So that would be funny.
Well, I think in every case, this kind of interviews doesn't matter. I think how many people are, because it's good to see also maybe later, how it went. And sometimes I go back and I check the old interviews, and it's good to hear somebody speaking, or maybe yourself. Then you can see the difference, how it's then and now. So
yeah, that's true. And then say to yourself, "Oh my God, I looked so bad."
yeah.
Okay, let me say something in Polish for people who would see that later. So, cześć wszystkim. Właśnie tu czekamy z trenerem Gregorem Ficko ze Słowenii. Na live na razie jest mało osób, więc rozmawiamy sobie o Australian Open i ogólnie tak sobie na razie small talk uprawiamy. No ale zaczniemy powoli. Ruszymy te tematy, o których pisałam, o których Gregor będzie opowiadał w trakcie konferencji. Także to będzie taki wstęp do tego, czego możecie się nauczyć już w Warszawie. Okay, Gregor, you are introduced. So
Thank you.
let's start with questions which I prepared for you. So
first, I just want to say hello to everybody, and it's great to be together with you. And thank you, Anna, for taking your time and delivering new knowledge and message to the people out there. And I'm really looking forward to this meeting.
Okay, więc Gregor się przywitał. Sorry, I say Gregor, I don't know why. Gregor.
I like it. Gregor, it's a nice tennis name. We all know one very good Gregor. He's much better than me, so.
You didn't play a match, so you don't know. Okay.
That's true.
So, więc trener Gregor wszystkim wam mówi cześć, cieszy się na naszą rozmowę dzisiaj i też na to, co będzie w Warszawie. Także ruszamy z pytaniami. So Gregor, let me ask you the first question, or let me tell the question in Polish first. I have to get used to translation. So in Polish, więc poruszymy taki ważny temat jak przechodzenie z dziecięcego tenisa w juniorski, co jest dla wszystkich, myślę, ważnym aspektem, bo tutaj najczęściej można się pogubić. I najpierw zapytam Gregora, dlaczego ta faza właśnie jest taka ważna i dlaczego niektórzy przechodzą tą fazę lepiej, a niektórzy gorzej. Okay, Gregor, so let's start with question about transferring from children's to juniors stage professional tennis. So what is what's happening at that time that it's so crucial in the development of the player, and why some players go smoothly and some struggle and take it longer time?
Okay, first of all, each player, they have their individual path of development. Some of them, they are physically developed a little bit sooner, and also cognitive, in the mind. So it's really important that people are the players and the team around the player. It's they know in what kind of type of the players we are dealing with. Some of them, they're developed faster. Some of them, they're developing a little bit slower. So I think this is very important aspect, because then we understand a little bit more also the results in the tournament, and also why some of the things are still not working, or they are working.
Okay, let me translate. So, więc na razie więc Gregor tutaj zaczął mówić o tym, że bardzo ważne jest, żeby wiedzieć, na jakim etapie rozwoju jest zawodnik, i fizycznym, i mentalnym. I czasem to ma duże znaczenie, jeśli chodzi o przechodzenie z tego dziecięcego tenisa, ponieważ niektórzy rozwijają się szybciej fizycznie lub szybciej mentalnie i są dojrzalsi po prostu wcześniej, i wtedy no po prostu te różnice wpływają tak naprawdę na to, kto rozwija się szybciej i kto później. I bardzo ważne jest, żeby trener, żeby cały team i trenerzy oraz rodzice byli świadomi tego, na jakim etapie rozwoju jest zawodnik. So Gregor, tell me, I remember from our conference, if you have in Slovenia some, if I remember well, some tools to measure the physical development of a player. Am I right?
Yeah, we are every year before the winter season starts. We have those measurements with the players from under 11 until under 18, and it concludes not just the basic athletic skills like agility and strength and explosive and coordination, but also the anthropometric stuff, like how fast they are growing and what is their anatomy status. Some of them, they already had the fastest growing, some of them, they are still in that phase, and it's also difference between the girls and the boys a lot. So, and all this, it's very important then to know how we are going to plan our trainings and tournaments, and it's very important to adapt to that.
Okay. A więc zadałam pytanie Gregorowi, ponieważ pamiętam z naszego z kursu, na którym byłam w Niemczech, i tam się poznaliśmy, ponieważ tam pamiętałam, jak mówił o tym, że mają przyrządy do mierzenia właśnie nie tylko sprawności zawodników, i to wszystko się dzieje w trakcie fazy między turniejami, w fazie przygotowawczej, tylko też mierzą, w jakiej fazie rozwoju jest ciało, czyli czy już ta najszybsza faza wzrostu jest przed nimi, czy po. Zwłaszcza to ma znaczenie u mężczyzn, i też właśnie to zależy od tego, czy mamy do czynienia z chłopakiem, czy z dziewczyną. I ogólnie na jakim etapie rozwoju są cały szkielet i ile jeszcze jakby będzie trwał rozwój fizyczny zawodnika. Okay, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add that in my experience, a lot of times it's not easy for the coach to make everybody happy. we know that we have to deal not with the player only, but we also have to deal with the parents, which is very important in the junior stage. And sometimes the parents, they don't see the same like we see as the coaches. So it's very important, who is the leader in, let's say, the team around the player. Somebody has to take the lead when there is planning. It's if there is a person, if nobody is leading, then that comes to that everybody is working on their own. Sometimes then the parents, they look for the tournament, and then the coach is just following up, which is not ideal. So everybody really, really has to speak openly about the organization in the team. I think that this is very important in the
Okay.
in the competitive junior development, going to performance tour.
Okej. Więc tutaj Gregor jeszcze dodał, że też jest problemem to, że w teamie trener nie tylko trenuje z zawodnikiem, ale też współpracuje z rodzicami i bardzo ważne jest, żeby w takiej współpracy było ustalone, kto jest takim liderem tej grupy, czy jest to trener, czy na przykład rodzic, ale musi być to wcześniej powiedziane, żeby było wiadomo, kto kieruje tym zespołem, żeby nie było, że trener wybiera turnieje, a rodzic wybiera turnieje też sam według siebie i wtedy ciężko jest o dobrą współpracę. Okay, Gregor, but let me ask you about those still with the development of the body, because you started to talk about parents and that sometimes they don't agree with some things. Do you mean that sometimes parents expect children to have quick results, even though they know that she or he is a little bit later developing than others? Is it some issue from your experience?
One of the most common comments that I hear from the parents is that they say, I just want my kid to be happy. I'm sure you guys also
Really?
listen to that a lot. And
in Poland,
no,
it's not most common.
Okay, so but I wanted to say that inside of that comment, maybe it's not as honest as they are saying. And yes, they want their kids to be happy, but sometimes they because some of the players, maybe when they lose, they are going through some tough situations, and they are crying when they are young, and they have to deal with all that diversity and tough situation. So they are trying sometimes to overload the player, and the players are then taking some individual lessons, and they are trying to make the development a little bit faster, and maybe playing more tournaments. Yeah.
You mean that they want his child to be happy, in the meaning that they won't see them crying after losing match, so they want them to just win more because of his happiness. Like, let's say, I don't want my son to be sad because he lost. That's why I will overload him with training. Is that what you mean?
Yes, that's a common situation that I see. And also they are trying to protect the kids sometimes to avoid these kind of tough situations, but these are the real situations that players are dealing with. And it's very important that we show the players and the parents also the statistics, what is happening in the professional tennis. And when we see the professional tennis and we go and we check the player who is ranked 150 ATP or WTA, it's like break even. Sometimes the professional players, they have more losses than the wins. So it's really realistic. But what we should do in this kind of situation is that we should take these kind of moments to see that the players, this is a phase of development. So we can protect them when we are making the new steps, making new plans, and showing the player that we are not afraid of these kind of situations, because we should go then and learn from it in a way to make new plans, in a way to see what we really should develop further. And when the player feels that, although if he lost the match and he's in a tough situations, we are ready to support them no matter what. So
Okay.
But not in a way that we are then overreacting, overloading the player, or we change the coach. We change the coach immediately after this kind of crisis. So these are situations that, yeah.
Yeah, changing the coach is very common, unfortunately. Especially, unfortunately, when the parent thinks that he knows a lot about tennis, but it's not that knowledge, that the real knowledge. So he actually doesn't know tennis, the core of tennis. Like, he knows some tennis, but not the core of it. And then he thinks the job is not done well, and that's why he should change a coach. But there are the problem is in other issues, like in the player, or I don't know, in cooperation, and not just. Okay, I forgot to translate.
Now you can do. Take your time.
Więc teraz rozmawialiśmy jeszcze z Gregorem o tym, jak ważne jest jednak, żeby rodzice... zaczęliśmy od tego, że zapytałam Gregora, czy są takie przypadki, kiedy trener, kiedy rodzic nie do końca akceptuje jakby pomiary i rozwój jeszcze dziecka, które jeszcze potrzebuje czasu, żeby się całkiem rozwinąć, tylko już naciska na wyniki. I Gregor tutaj odpowiedział, że często słyszy od rodziców, że oni chcą jak najlepiej dla dziecka, ale niestety to czasem oznacza, że właśnie raczej chcą go uchronić przed przegrywaniem, więc biorą dodatkowe lekcje, grają dodatkowe turnieje i tak naprawdę przeciążają dziecko, a myślą, że je chronią przed przegrywaniem. A tutaj najlepszą jakby ochroną i tym, co mogą zrobić rodzice, jest to, żeby dziecko wiedziało zawsze, że może przegrać, że to jest lekcja, a nie jakaś ostateczna porażka. I patrząc w ogóle na statystyki nawet najlepszych osób, najlepszych graczy w pierwszej setce czy tam 150, zawsze jest jednak czasem nawet ten balans wygranych do przegranych meczy nawet na minusie, także chodzi o to, żeby zawsze jednak wspierać dziecko czy zawodnika i szukać nowych sposobów na polepszenie gry, a nie patrzeć tylko po prostu na suchy bilans wygranych i przegranych. Okay, one last question about the transition between from children to junior. What would you say, what is the reason that even though the players are developed the same, for example, girls, they quite develop more often the same time than boys, the difference is not that much, and they are competing at the same level, under 12, under 14, and at one moment one girl goes very fast to the high WTA numbers after 3-4 years, and the other is not. And why do you think is that? What are the most common reasons of that? Let me translate before I forget. Więc zapytałam szybko trenera, Gregora o to, co może być takim czynnikiem, kiedy dwóch zawodników jest nawet w tej samej fazie rozwoju, grają na takim samym dobrym poziomie, ale w pewnym momencie nagle jedna osoba idzie bardzo szybko do przodu, a druga jednak zostaje z tyłu i gdzieś tam dużo więcej czasu to trwa, aż dotrze do tych wysokich wyników. Okay.
So let me start from the end. What I mean is that if we are looking for the professional women tennis, the 5 most important things that I see in professional women tennis is first, because the serve, it's not the biggest weapon. The biggest weapon is the return in women tennis. So what is the most important shot in women tennis? It's a first shot after the serve. And then a lot of players, they are the women players. What it's really important is they really need to keep up the fast pace of the game. So the player who can keep up the very fast pace of the game, that player can look to go really, really high, also in professional tennis. So if we underline everything, then what is really important is they are aggressive. They know they should play. They should know how to play aggressive and stay in this aggressive game mode. But at the same time, it's really important that they can still keep the consistency inside of this aggressive game mode. So what I see, and also the players that I worked with, first, let's see under 12 category, the consistency is very important, because if the player is not consistent here, then also the player will not be that consistent keeping up the fast pace and aggressive game. And then what is really important is the players that are more successful, they are also in the beginning more aggressive. I'm speaking about under 12, under 14. They are the one who is dominating the point a little bit more. You know, some of them, they have more, let's say, variety in the game, you know, with the drop shots, with the slice. But some of them, they are more of a forehand and backhand player. Both of them can succeed. But it's a combination of, you know, developing a really good consistency. I'm speaking about under 12, under 14, but at the same time to be aggressive in the mind and also in the game, and those two combinations. So if the player is not consistent that much, she will also suffer later. But at the same time, if she is, you know, let's say too passive in the game, then she will suffer with let's say, to be aggressive and to dominate. So this is the breaking point why some girls with the 15 and 16, you know, they can make the steps and start to play WTA.
So you mean that, for example, under 12, some girl can be very consistent and winning because of errors of others, but
Yes.
then if she will not change to more aggressive and still play the same, she will not move forward, right?
Yeah, this is the next step, you know, from consistency to the power, but then to have the power of control, you know, consistency, power, and then to have the power of control. That's so important.
Okay, you make tennis sounds very difficult. I mean, it is, but some don't understand that, and that's the point, that some people think, like parents, they think only about, you know, they see the television, the trophies, the fame and money, but they sometimes don't understand how much things has to connect to have a successful player.
It's so important to have, you know, to know the steps, but that doesn't matter that player will go always in the steps. It's very important to have the vision of developing of a player.
Okay. Translation. Więc Gregor odpowiedział na moje pytanie w ten sposób, że jeśli właśnie chodzi głównie o dziewczyny, to bardzo ważne jest, żeby już w tym wieku 12-14 potrafić być agresywnym, ponieważ jeśli będzie dana zawodniczka regularna, może wygrywać w tych niższych kategoriach, ale jeśli nie pójdzie za tym też gra agresywna, no to właśnie może się zatrzymać w rozwoju i wtedy te dziewczyny, które potrafią grać regularnie, ale też jednak podejmują większe ryzyko i grają agresywnie, no to one jednak pójdą szybciej do przodu. Jednak równocześnie ważne jest, żeby to nie była tylko sama agresywna gra, czyli 3-4 uderzenia i jak nie wejdzie, to trudno i nie ma jakiegoś planu B i nie ma tej powtarzalności uderzeń, nie ma kontroli, no to też wtedy może to działać do pewnego momentu, a później jeśli nie będzie tego balansu, no to też niestety może jakby utknąć na jakichś średnich pozycjach w rankingu. Okay, let's go further.
Okay.
So now let's speak about the difference in the training in the off season and during the season. So tell me, why is it so important to make changes in the training when you are in season and when you are out of season? Why is that so important?
Yeah, first thing, it's recuperation. The players inside of the competitive season, it's they have much more matches. It's a different intensity. It's much more. It's a bigger intensity for the body and for the mind as well. So to successfully finish the tournament period, it's so important to have a good recuperation. But the recuperation, it's not only sleeping and
recuperation. You mean recovery? Yes.
Yeah, recovery. So, but recovery, it's not only like doing nothing and watching TV, but it really has to be a quality recovery. I'm meaning about taking care of the muscles and taking care of the tissue and taking a walk, have a good breathing session and all those things. So it's really important to adapt with a plan. It's a little bit different. Also, that's the first thing. The second thing is also the training session. It's more specific because the matches are so much closer. So we are inside of tournament periods working more on those specific patterns in the game, what we see that the players really need. If there is something about positioning on the court, or there is something about maybe a specific shot, because we all know that when there is a tournament period, what we are giving to player, it's more information about the strategy, and it's more about how to have the control over your mind, and not so much about what to change technically or how to build up your muscle. So that's the first thing, that it's different. And then also what is so important is to take care of the mental condition. The tournament period, it's much more heavier for the mind, because it's much more stress, it's much more pressure in the mind. And we as coaches, it's so important to give the players all those suggestions and mental support. So we actually coach more to be their own coaches. But in the preparation period, it's more about building the capacity. I mean, the capacity of with a good technique, maybe to build up some speed, some stamina, or doing some drills to really find a good playing pattern. So that's why it's so important. And then there are also small periods inside of the competitive, let's say, tournament period, where we can still go inside and work on the capacity a little bit. Like, for example, when there is when players is on the tournament for 3 weeks together, let's say he's playing some futures, or she, it's also good to take a day and see when there is time to go for a 30 to 40 minute run, to have some good stamina training. Sorry?
Or to change the forehand technique.
also to work a little bit on the feel. What we do is, when I see some technical problem, I I take the player and we are doing, for example, a forehand, but we are working more on a feel. Let's say, feeling that what kind of ball is he playing with a little bit more speed or height or angle or things like that, or to feel the racket head speed, to feel the leg drive, those kind of things. So it's a little bit more, let's say, biomechanical technique more than giving players too much information. I don't want him to overload with the information before the match. So
Okay. Translation time. Czyli zapytałam Gregora o to, dlaczego ważne są różnice w treningu między sezonem turniejowym i w sezonie pozaturniejowym, przygotowawczym. No i głównie te różnice polegają na tym, że w trakcie fazy turniejowej tak naprawdę układ nerwowy, głowa jest bardziej męczący dla zawodnika niż zwykły trening poza sezonem. Dlatego bardzo trzeba dbać o odpoczynek, czyli też nie tylko leżenie przed telewizorem, ale też bardzo dobra jakość snu, odżywianie lub inne rzeczy, które potrafią po prostu sprawić, żeby organizm się czuł lepiej, czyli na przykład też masaż, głębokie oddychanie po to, żeby nauczyć się też pracować właśnie z oddechem. No i też jeśli chodzi o technikę, to czasem robi się można pracować nad małymi korektami, ale Gregor tutaj mówi, że on pracuje bardziej tak biomechanicznie na poczuciu piłki i dobrych ruchów niż na dawaniu zbyt wielu werbalnych wskazówek. But can you tell me, one moment. Yeah, what are the let me find the word.
You can say in Polish and I will try to translate to English.
No, 1 second. I have it here. What can happen if you don't adjust the training to for example, if you incorporate off-season training to the training in between or on tournaments? What can happen wrong? What can be wrong?
Yeah. For example, the player it's not confident enough in those patterns that I would like him or her to play in the match. Because if he doesn't, for example, trust that he can defend on really heavy ball and then he feels light on the feet, he feels athletic, he will not be that much confident to go into a match when he knows that it's going to be a tough match with the long rallies, for example. So if we don't build the capacity and the player knows about it, then he will not be that confident and he will not feel secure about himself to go in that in those kind of matches. That's the first thing. For example, what I see with especially with more with the women than with the men, it's the confidence in the serve. There are times that, for example, I can see 20 to 30 double faults in a futures player. I'm speaking about futures player, and it's it's because we didn't work on the natural movement. The player really should find the natural movement first. For example, sometimes working without the racket, working in different kind of situations. If we want to develop a good baseline consistency, it's not just to keep the player in a neutral position. We need to train the player also out of the neutral position, in the extreme condition, you know. So we need to really, yeah.
But I meant
we need to put, yeah.
the work
Go ahead.
on the off season, yeah. But I meant what can go wrong if you train like in off season, if you train and like in off season, but in the season, like you don't change anything, but you do what you did on the off season, and you continue with the same training when you start playing tournaments.
Yeah.
What will be the effect, bad effect, I mean?
Yeah, for sure, the bad effect will be that the player is not specific prepared, you know, for the matches conditions. We all know that you know, the match conditions is a pressure. The match conditions is more unpredictable, because, you know, mostly what we are training in the off season, it's a more predictable situation. Player know much more what we are working, which kind of drills, which kind of patterns, what he should do. And then, for example, we say, okay, we do 1, 2, 3, 4, and I need you to do this with the fifth ball, you know. But what is a fifth ball in the match? You don't know. Maybe there is only 3 balls in a match. So it's, you know, it's really important that in a stage when there is a tournament period starting, and for me that means 3 weeks before the tournaments, at least, I go into the specific period. If there is only one tournament to play, it's not so important, but if there is more weeks to play, it's at least 3 weeks, at least minimum. We need to start to do the specific training, specific athletic, specific mental, specific tactical, and also, you know, with the technique, always from time to time we need to keep the player in that feel, you know, feeling the what kind of ball is he going, what kind of ball is coming. Also the specific footwork, you know, if there is a clay season, is much different athletic training, because the movement on the clay, it's different than on the hard. And also you know, the timing in the clay, it's different than the timing in so it's much more working inside of the court, for example, for the hard season, and there is much more working on the loop balls and the angles when playing on the clay, for example.
Okej, więc przetłumaczę, co Gregor powiedział. Ja zapytałam o to, jakie będą efekty tego, jeśli źle dobierzemy rodzaj treningu i w trakcie sezonu turniejowego będziemy kontynuować sezonem z treningiem nieturniejowym, czyli takim spoza sezonu. No i wtedy generalnie może wyjść tak, że ten zawodnik będzie nieprzygotowany do gry meczowej, ponieważ ten trening poza sezonem jest polega na bardziej przewidywalnych różnych schematach gry i ćwiczeniach, tak żeby po prostu skupić się na ich wykonaniu, a w trakcie sezonu te punkty są po prostu bardziej nieprzewidywalne, jak to w meczu. Więc nie będąc do tego przygotowanym, może się nam trudniej grać. I dodatkowo po prostu przed samym sezonem turniejowym ważne jest, żeby też trenować już bardziej specyficzne poruszanie, specyficzne myślenie meczowe, żeby po prostu być przygotowanym do tej gry meczowej. Też na odwrót, co może się stać, jeśli będziemy kontynuować z treningiem, jeśli w zimie zrobimy trening, w zimie, jeśli zrobimy trening, który był takim treningiem jakby turniejowym, a nie zrobimy na przykład właśnie wytrzymałości i takiej powtarzalności uderzeń, no to wtedy zawodnik może czuć się niepewnie w trakcie turnieju, nie będzie czuł pewnie się ze serwisem, nie będzie się pewnie czuł ze swoją wydolnością i sprawnością, Także dlatego ważne jest, żeby w tych fazach po prostu ten trening rozdzielać. Gregor, I myself see many times on tournament or in some clubs when during the tournaments or during the season, players and coaches train only cross court, just cross court, forehand, cross court, backhand, like for 1 hour. And I understand that when you have no court available, like for you two only, full court, but you have to share, so it's kind of not possible to choose what you can train. But too often I can see, even if there is whole court, that they just hit, it's like more hitting session, not training session. Do you see that too sometimes, or?
Yeah, it's absolutely. For example, especially in the tournament period, when there are players somewhere on the tournament and there is some practice courts session, and even though if you have 30 minutes, those 30 minutes should be used much differently. I think it's a waste of time to go, for example, only cross court or hitting the ball from the baseline. I think those 30 minutes, for example, it really should be used with a specific plan. For example, there is in the match, let's say a professional match, there is not more than 4 cross-court balls in the match. Of course, those cross-court balls has to be really, really with a great quality. And if the player is working on maybe changing the angle with the cross court or going more deep and more in the middle of cross court, then he needs more cross court play, or for example, covering the cross court. But the less time you have, the more creative you need to be and the more specific training needs to be. So it's not good for the player to do this, because the match is much more unpredictable, and he will not use so many cross courts in the match.
Sometimes when I arrived on the tournament, I saw girls hitting those forehands and backhands cross court, like with so much strength. And even though we practiced together, like we had some time to play and then maybe play a few points, and during the time when we play cross courts, they would destroy me. And I was thinking, oh my god, I will lose like 6-0, 6-0 against that girl. But then when it came to the points, it appeared that I'm much better, and they don't hit that hard, or they hit but they miss. And that was pretty funny sometimes, because I was like really scared, and thinking, oh my god, I will lose 6-0, 6-0. And then in the match it was really different game.
What I think? Yeah, I totally know what you mean, and that means that that you had much more variety in the game. So what I see is that for the coaches is very important. Good coach for me is the one that he does the quality training with the less tools available. That means that if you have less time and if you have less space, and also if maybe you don't have the best balls, but you can still find a way to have a great quality training. And if the player is capable to do that, then also it will be much easier in the match, than to find excuses. Hey, I didn't have the court, or I didn't have the time, or the court was, I don't know, slippery or something. There is always a way.
Yes, I myself, with my father, we were actually the one laughing about. We were the ones who were laughed about, because we traveled always with the basket of balls. And for example, I we woke up at 7 in the morning and go to the practice court at 8, when everyone came at 9 to warm up before 10 o'clock matches. We were there already at 8 or earlier. And I didn't like hit balls with girls, and we just made, the exercises, with changing directions or the tactic for my future opponent. And for example, in the evening, the same. If I knew who I play next day, we had just even 30 minutes, but some tactical solutions for my future opponent. But and it was working very good. But we were always, the other people were laughing about that. They are first and last going off the courts, and they go with this basket, this old Stanley Korzeniak always with this basket. But then they came to us and asked us to lend them the balls. They will not, no, they travel without the balls, but we have basket, we can give the balls away, to everyone. So that was tough time for me, but I believed in this process, and that's why I was till sometime better than others. Sad story. I mean, like in a fairy tale, that you are at the beginning, you are being laughed by others, but at the end you are better than them. So it's like a fairy tale a little bit. Starting sad, ending well.
I think this is so good what you are explaining now, and I think it's also very important that we as coaches, we are working with juniors, and that we are using every kind of situation to make them better. If that means that we go out in the forest, and do some balance training in a tree, like for example, there is a tree on the floor, or we are jumping, in the forest over the trees, or we are throwing some stones, in the river to make some arm speed. Yes, it looks a little bit funny. It looks a little bit funny.
Foot bear without
Yeah,
shoes, so it's even more
but
tough.
yeah, there is when I was thinking about what is making me so passionate in coaching, and then one day I came to the conclusion is that my grandfather, he was a football coach, and when I was 6 years, it's before I started to play tennis, we went and we practiced football as a grandfather and a grandson. It was more of a grandfather grandson relation and quality time, and he was always training me, not in the football court, but we trained in the in the field. Like for example, when there is corn growing, and he throw the football, and the ball was jumping left and right, and my feet were moving like crazy. I did all this proprioceptive agility training and everything, and I was doing some exercise with the ball uphill and downhill. And then when I came to the straight football court, it was much easier for me,
Yes.
and this gave me a idea that we can really find a way to train in all kind of conditions, and there is always a way. And this is what is the difference between a good and a great coach. Great coach will always find a way to make player better. It doesn't matter if the other guys are laughing. They are laughing because inside of them, they know that they are doing something special. That's why it's a defensive mechanism. The laugh.
Okay. Good to know. That.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to translate.
Okay.
Where was the where we began with this?
Yeah, we began with a cross court, and
Okay.
the players are doing a lot of cross court and not adapting. Yeah.
Okej. Więc tak, tu w tej rozmowie poruszyliśmy dalej ten temat, że nie można trenować w trakcie turniejów tak samo jak w fazie jeszcze poza turniejami. I tutaj podałam przykład, kiedy ja jeździłam po turniejach, to często widziałam dziewczyny, które dużo grały po prostu do siebie po krosie lub też mężczyźni. No i to nie przynosiło efektu, bo przez chwilę nawet grając z nimi ja czułam, że one grają dużo mocniej te krosy, ale później w grze na punkty się okazywało, że po prostu jednak nie potrafiły tego przełożyć na grę i ja byłam bardziej skuteczna już w grze meczowej. Tu ogólnie też Gregor podkreśla, że bardzo ważne dla trenera jest to, żeby znaleźć sposób na trening, nawet jeśli by to miało znaczyć właśnie albo wczesne wstawanie, albo trenowanie w lesie, albo na polu z kukurydzą, on the field with corn.
Yeah.
I też tutaj właśnie podałam przykład, kiedy ja z moim tatą, który był moim trenerem, jeździliśmy po turniejach i też właśnie bardzo wcześnie wstawaliśmy albo zostawaliśmy późno po meczach, żeby poćwiczyć właśnie grę taktyczną, a nie tylko właśnie grę po krosie lub do siebie. Także tutaj bardzo podkreśla Gregor, że jakby świetny coach od dobrego coacha różni się tym, że znajdzie zawsze sposób na to, żeby ten trening był efektywniejszy. I przy okazji przytoczył, jak on trenował ze swoim dziadkiem w piłkę nożną, to też dziadek go często zabierał właśnie w różne miejsca, tylko nie na boisko piłkarskie, aby miał trudniej, aby było ciekawiej, więc Gregor, jak później wracał na boisko do piłki nożnej, to się wydawało wszystko bardzo łatwe. Okay, so the last field of our conversation today is the connecting mind and body performance, which you will talk about on the conference in Warsaw. So can you just tell us what is the benefit? I mean, at that time it's already more common, the concept of mind, because like even a few years ago it was very for tennis players it was still not that common like now. And so why it's so important, and even if do you agree that sometimes it's more important than physical? What do you think about the concept that sometimes mind is more important than physical preparation?
Yeah.
Question.
Okay. First of all, when we are starting to develop a specific skill or shot or some capacity, we are working more consciously. If we want to, start to build a skill, we are working more consciously. And then the more and more we start to generalize it, and the more better we are, it's more automatic. And the more automatic it is, it goes more into the unconscious. And we know that when we are in the game, when we are on the match, and there is much less time, and we need to take a really fast decision, we don't have that much time to think consciously. So what is very important is for us coaches that we start to train the players in a way that they are not learning only consciously, but they are, of course, some things working consciously, and then some things they are, through, for example, the implicit learning and different kind of teaching methods, they are working without even thinking a lot about it. For example, we can work on specific shot, for example, forehand. We can, fix the path of the racket. We can fix the angle of the racket without thinking a lot about it. Or also, it's when we are working on the focus in the game, or when we are working on the decision making, we should do that a lot. We should put the player more into the situation when he is taking the decision more and more automatically. For example, yeah.
Okay, just translate. Więc teraz zadałam pytanie Gregorowi o tym ostatnim temacie dzisiejszym, czyli jak ważne jest połączenie umysłu i ciała i czy zgodziłby się z założeniem, że czasem umysł jest ważniejszy niż przygotowanie umysłu, siła mentalna jest ważniejsza niż przygotowanie fizyczne. I zaczęliśmy tutaj od tego, że trenujemy jakby zawodnika po to, aby na początku było to świadome, ale im dłużej to trenujemy, tym uderzenia zostają w naszej podświadomości, czyli gramy już później automatycznie. I teraz bardzo ważne jest, żeby na treningu też stwarzać takie sytuacje, gdzie zawodnik musi po prostu więcej grać automatycznie niż świadomie. Okay, so what you said is that it's important to put the player on the training in the situation where he has to react more automatically than consciously, right?
Yeah. For a practical example, it's important to work on the feel of the player. For example, how he feels the contact point, how he feels the certain position on the court, also the perception of the ball. We should work a lot on the eyes, of how to receive the ball, and also feeling the body more, because this is how we are gonna work more inside of the body, and it's much less with thinking. And for example, what is the most important thing is tennis is to be here and now. The more we are here and now, the more is going to, the better the focus will be, and also the better will be the control of the mind, because the human brain is made that we have so many thoughts in 1 second going on, but in that moment of the game there is only space for one thing and one thing only, and there is where are we going to put the ball and what kind of ball is coming. So it's only about that, and there are a lot of drills, a lot of exercises, how to train here and now, all kind of exercises, and it can be done practically on the court, and this is what we should do more.
Okay. Więc tutaj Gregor mówi o tym, jak ważne jest, żeby ćwiczyć te automatyczne reakcje, a zwłaszcza to, aby dostosować tak ćwiczenia, aby bardziej ćwiczyć to, co zawodnik czuje, niż myśli, czyli bardziej trenować, jak odczuwa ustawienie, jak odczuwa kontakt piłki, niż bardziej myśleć o tym, tylko aby grał bardziej czuciem niż myśleniem. Tak samo też ważne jest, żeby ćwiczyć też wzrok, czyli to, jak widzimy piłkę i z jaką prędkością nadlatuje. I dodatkowo na koniec let me remind the last of your words, last sentence, yeah. Because I forgot.
The last sentence is that we as coaches should work more on how to put the player also on the court in a situation where he's training the here and now.
Yes. Więc tutaj jeszcze było ważne to, że właśnie ludzki umysł może mieć tyle myśli naraz, ale na korcie jest najważniejsze, aby być tu i teraz, i na korcie jest, żeby było najważniejsze tylko jedna myśl o tym, gdzie przyleci do nas piłka i jak zagrać daną piłkę. So the important thing was about thinking only one thing, how to play the ball and how the ball is coming to us, or can you remind me?
Yeah, sure. It's the tennis. It's a game of receiving and sending. And receiving means that we should really see very clearly the idea already when the ball is coming, you know. So it's not a lot of time to take the.
See what? What do you mean?
When the ball is coming to us, you know, we should already have the idea where and how to send the ball. So it's how to send the ball, what kind of ball, or more loopy ball or more flat ball, or it's time to take out the pace or give more pace. So it's a very simple game actually, but we are complicating the game a lot, not because we want to, but the human mind, it's used to have a lot of thoughts in the mind, in a very short time. So but our job is to keep it away and to fill the head, to fill the mind only with this information, just to see the ball and taking the decision, and that's it, and that's enough. We have only space for one thing at the moment in a tennis game.
Yes.
We cannot make two decisions.
Okay, and you said that that there are many practical exercises on court to to make it familiar with the player, to just think about receiving and sending the ball, right?
Yes, this is what also I'm going to present in your conference. I think it's very important to already start warm-up exercises to include a lot of working with the ball, and also with different kind of vocal reactions, to take not just to move, but to also say what you do, together. So it's connecting the body and mind, means that we are not only physical bodies, we are not only material. We are the movement. It's coming from the head, and the faster we see what we are doing, the faster we take the decision, the better we can make the decision, and the faster we can do the decision. So this is a connection.
Okay, we have first comment.
Okay.
Kuba Folarski says hello. So
hello back to you.
So it's to you more than to me. So okay.
It's nice to have some guests, and I really hope to see you live in the conference and to work together. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Yeah, we can ask, we can answer some questions, but I'm not sure if you see, we have all the time 3 people looking, still being here with us. I don't know who that is, but
okay,
they're really patient and interested in our conversation, because I see them already for 1 hour, więc pozdrawiam wszystkich, którzy tu są, te 4 osoby, które są z nami już od godziny. Tak, fajnie, że jesteście i śledzicie naszą rozmowę. Okay, so I will translate quickly what you said. Więc to połączenie głowy i umysłu, ciała i umysłu też można wyćwiczyć różnymi ćwiczeniami na korcie, na przykład już podczas rozgrzewki, kiedy coś robimy, równocześnie werbalnie to wyrażać, bo wtedy łączymy właśnie pracę ciała z umysłem, bo mówiąc musimy bardziej pomyśleć. I tak naprawdę nasz mózg i my sobie sami komplikujemy grę w tenisa przez to, że za dużo się dzieje w naszej głowie, kiedy to powinno być proste i po prostu skupienie się tylko na odbiorze piłki i odegraniu jej. No ale ten nasz mózg niestety trzeba tego nauczyć, aby po prostu więcej grał niż myślał. Okay. So please answer the question, which is actually, I think it depends from the person, the answer. What would you say if if you agree with that sometimes the mental preparation is more important than physical preparation, or what do you think about that?
I totally agree that the mental preparation is the fundament for the physical preparation, because, like said before, the all the movements, all the speed and the balance and all the physical elements, they are coming from our brain and from, from inside. And for example, if we are angry, there is proof that if we are angry, if we are nervous, the balance it's for or from 30 to 40% worse. So you could do the test. For example, if you stand on one leg when you are very relaxed, or when you are standing on one leg when there is a stressful situation or you had a bad day or something, the balance is so much worse. So it's already, if you are in the in more negative state of mind, also the physical elements will not be so high. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is that, also when we are tired, when we are exhausted, when there is a tough situation in a match or there is a long match, if you have the mental capacity, if you have the mental resilience, if you have that, then you can go further. You can then push yourself much more. You can still find some energy inside, to still go. So the mental condition, it's actually very important. And now in the last few years, there is a much more work on the mental condition, not only the physical condition. But of course, it's also the physical condition that it's helping the mental to be better. But the mental, it's the base. It's the fundament.
Yeah, for example, if you are too slow to many balls, then your mental will break break down.
Yeah. Again, for example, there is some player that they can really rely, and they are confident because they know they can outrun you. They can stay so much longer on the court. But then there are the players that they know that they are not running that much, but they have this cognitive skill, to find solutions on the court, and to see the game a little bit more. So it's very important to combine both of them. It's not like you do mental fitness in with the psychologist in the classroom, and then you do the physical conditioning with a fitness coach. It should be together. For me, a good tennis coach should also be a good mental coach, and then also the fitness coach should also be a good mental coach, both of them. Yeah.
So you just send all good coaches to mental school.
I think it. Yeah. I think we should all work.
To the school about sports psychology, I mean.
The sport psychology. We are all psychologists inside, but we should only we have to find the skill to help the player. And sometimes is the fitness coach that can really help mentally the player, because some players, they have maybe they are more open to the fitness coach than the tennis coach. Maybe they have the better relationship, and then there is always a person that is maybe helping more mentally in the team of a player. Sometimes is the parent also. but we should know how to help the player, have the tools, and those basic tool is for sure, first, the emotional, how to help the player who is dealing with the emotions, because emotions is the most common thing that the players are dealing with. That's the first thing. Then the second thing is about the confidence. The confidence is not the same all the time. It's also going up and down. And then the third thing is the mental capacity. How to build the mental skills, the resilience, to see the game. When is the right momentum, how to control the inner thoughts, how to do the good self-talking, those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, let me translate. So, więc Gregor tutaj odpowiedział, że jak najbardziej strona mentalna jest taką bazą nawet do dobrego przygotowania fizycznego, ponieważ są na to już badania, że jeśli jesteśmy rozzłoszczeni, jeśli jesteśmy po prostu w złym stanie psychicznym, to na przykład nasza równowaga ciała od razu się pogarsza i można zrobić test, czyli postać na jednej nodze będąc zrelaksowanym lub i jeśli mamy jakiś ciężki dzień stresujący lub jesteśmy w trakcie albo po kłótni, w trakcie kłótni nie zalecam, można spróbować stać na jednej nodze i wtedy sprawdzimy, że nam się po prostu gorzej stoi. No ale to wszystko powinno być połączone, też jeśli jesteśmy dobrze wytrenowani fizycznie, to czujemy się też pewniej, więc to wszystko jest połączone, ale jednak ten umysł jest tutaj bardzo ważny, ponieważ możemy nim wpływać właśnie na swoje nastawienie, na to, jak nasze ciało będzie pracowało. Dodatkowo w trakcie meczu, nawet jeśli będziemy już bardzo zmęczeni, to osoba z mocniejszą mentalnością będzie potrafiła jeszcze wykrzesać z siebie więcej siły niż osoba, która będzie równocześnie negatywnie do tego nastawiona. I ogólnie jeszcze Gregor mówi o tym, żeby ten trening nawet fizyczny powinien być też równocześnie trenowany z mentalnością, że najlepiej, żeby też trener tenisa lub trener fitness miał jakieś pojęcie o mentalności, potrafił ją u zawodnika poprawiać i żeby też rozumiał emocje, ponieważ to głównie emocje targają jakby zawodnikiem i trener powinien je zrozumieć i wiedzieć, jak je kontrolować u zawodnika. Gregor, I know exactly what you talk about because I'm just writing a book myself about mental strength in tennis. So
wow, that's good.
Yes. Yes, and I agree with what you said, and I have to tell that as I bought some books about sports psychology long time ago, because I'm a big enthusiast about the tennis and the mentality, because I myself changed it a lot long time ago. I changed from really being aggressive to myself to most supportive way I can be to myself at the moment, and I wish that to everyone to change that and to be your best tennis coach on the court that you can be. And in those books, many times there are also pages directed to the coaches, not only to the athletes, but also to the coaches, how to communicate with your player and exercises to do together and stuff. So it's not that common, but I found that already in a few books what you say. So so I think it's important for coaches to be aware that they also need to do some work with mentality, right? What's your experience?
Absolutely.
If you know many coaches who know that, or you know more coaches who are not still aware that they should also have the knowledge about mentality.
What I see in the last 20 years is that coaches mostly, like let's say 20 years ago, they were working mostly on the technique and hitting the ball and doing some, tactical drills and these kind of things. And then from that, let's say 10 years ago or 15 years ago, coaches starting to do integrated training. That means that they started to put also the other fields inside, like for example, athletic field, and then combination technique and athletic training together. And then now in the last years, there is starting this mental aspect coming in, because we now know that the speed and decision making and these kind of skills, it's actually coming out from the mental side. So um, I think this is the field that the coaches, we need to work mostly on that, how to improve that. So we don't need to be sports psychologists, but we need to be coaches who can help mentally the player in that situation. And there is a good combination also in the warm up that we can do, the mental side, and there is also things that we can do on the technical and tactical side, working mentally. For example, one of my favorite things before we go to the tournament period is to talk about the values, which player wants to have, and there is a lot of times that the player wants to look differently than there is a realistically what he's doing on the court. So we are speaking about the values. I'm speaking about the behavior. I'm speaking about what it's the difference between success and result. This is a big difference. They should be prepared to understand that the result, it's not success, and the success, it's not result. So this is very important, and then we all make a commitment, with the players before we go out to the tournaments. So the mental preparation already starts in a pre-season, in the preparation phase. So it's otherwise it's too late.
Okej. Więc tak, tutaj zapytałam się Grygora o to, jak on ocenia, jak widzi to, czy wplata się już tą mentalność w trening, czy nie, i czy trenerzy są świadomi, że powinni już mieć taką wiedzę też mentalną i dodawać ją do ćwiczeń. Więc tutaj na przestrzeni lat. Wait 1 second, I started to hear myself. That's not good if I hear myself in some
Now
other...
it's better.
Yes,
Can you hear me?
You've put the microphone like more loud or something.
No, it's actually because I'm on my phone, and I'm trying to avoid if somebody is calling me. I'm sorry, I don't have a laptop right now, and there is a guy who called me now, so I canceled. And I think this was the reason. So I'm sorry.
No problem.
Now it's good?
Yes. Because it's hard to speak when you also speak, when you hear yourself like 1 second later.
Yeah.
It's annoying. Więc tak, i na przestrzeni tych lat, dawno temu, 20 lat temu aż, Gregor się odniósł do tego, że wtedy się trenowało technikę, i uderzenia, głównie na korcie. Później zaczęło się wplatać w to też ćwiczenia sprawnościowe, tak żeby łączyć i sprawność, i tenis w trakcie jednej sesji na korcie. I ostatnio też już widzi, że dodaje się też zadania mentalne, tak żeby już na tym treningu było również przygotowanie mentalne. Także to jest ważne, aby trenerzy właśnie mieli już jakąś wiedzę o tej mentalności, żeby móc ją już w treningach wprowadzać i na przykład jadąc na turniej ze swoim zawodnikiem, Gregor rozmawia o wartościach, o tym, czego oczekują od siebie trener i zawodnik, na przykład, że ważne jest zachowanie na korcie, a nie tylko jakby wygranie meczu, i o różnicy między czym jest sukces, a czym jest dobry rezultat, czyli czym jest jakby to, co... Wait, I can't. Polish got harder with you.
You have to switch fast.
Yeah. I have to train before the conference because I will translate you on court. So,
well, that's training. That's training. So that's already training. It's good.
Yeah, I have to make lives every day with translation now, from now on. Więc po prostu to, żeby zrozumieć, jak ważny nie jest sam rezultat, ale po prostu wynik tego, co ustalaliście i czy to osiągnęliście, a nie po prostu wygranie meczu. Okay, I think that would be enough for today. 1.5 hours anyway, that's a lot.
Well, I think the questions were, the questions were amazing. So I really enjoy, speaking about this. I think it's very important topic. So
yeah, I think we could speak about more than 1.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a Friday evening. It's a Friday evening. What should we do else than speak about tennis? And
yes. Okay, Gregor. So thank you very much for today, for your time, and for your answers with all of your knowledge and commitment to answer as good as you can. And I found we didn't get any questions here on chat, but I think they will arrive with time. And mostly, I think you will get many questions on the conference. So prepare for that.
How do you say thank you? We say hvala in Slovenia. It's
I know hvala, yes.
Hvala.
We say dziękuję.
Dziękuję. So dziękuję to Anna and all the coaches, the persons that were with us today. I'm really honored that I'm here with you guys, and I hope you got something, some useful things. And it's gonna be live in the conference in the Warsaw. So I'm really looking forward to work with you guys, and we're gonna have a lot of opportunities to see more practical things, and then we can have some more questions and answers. So I'm really looking forward. I think Anna, you're doing a great thing for tennis and for Poland and also for the world. And I think already now it's a proof that you're gonna be successful. So
thanks. How am I gonna explain that in Polish to say about myself such nice things? It will not sound great.
Well, we can start by just say dziękuję to everybody, and I think if we want the tennis to be let's say a better sport for everybody, then we are the one that are creating the environment. We are creating our own future, which is very important.
But I have to tell you that I'm very happy that already we have many players who want to, many coaches who come with a player and they want to participate in the on-court training. So I think that's already a big achievement, because there are not many occasions for that in Poland, to consult with coaches with that experience, international experience, and to be on the court and experience your exercises. So it will be fun, I hope, and it will be very very important for those players. So
I'm sure we're gonna have some great time together, and it's all about helping each other and keep on pushing each other further.
Yes, okay. I translate shortly that you say goodbye to everyone. Więc Gregor wszystkich Was pozdrawia, dziękuję za obecność i liczy, że zobaczymy się oczywiście w Warszawie i bardzo się cieszy, że może do nas przyjechać i że również i on, i ja staramy się ten tenis propagować i poszerzać wiedzę trenerską tutaj, zwłaszcza w Polsce, ponieważ jest to ważne i tak naprawdę od nas zależy, jak to wszystko będzie w przyszłości wyglądać. Między innymi też mnie pochwalił za moją pracę nad konferencją. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you one more time. Write me the bill. Send me the bill.
No, it's a really thank you for this time. It's this is a quality time. We can all learn from each other, and always when we question ourselves, we are looking for new why and for new answers, and that's how we can help each other to be better. So I'm really honored to be here and to be a part of this.
Thanks. But I saw that you probably the next weekend after the Warsaw, you'll be speaking for the World Tennis Conference, which is online. Am I right?
Yes, this is every year. It's a World Tennis Conference. It's organized with Segal Institute and Fernando Segal. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Great speakers, great topics. Also live panels. So I suggest to everybody. It's great because it's online. So you can actually reach it wherever you are. But there is a but. It's online, and the online, it's not the same like live. So I prefer live conferences, and to be together for 2 or 3 days. It's just amazing, because we can also with other things in life. It's better live than online, right?
Right. Yes. I hope we will remember that for next few years until until young generation will change everything to be online. So let's still fight for that we are still doing things in person. Okay, thank you, Gregor, one more time, and we stay in touch. I tyle. I dziękujemy wszystkim. Gregor oczywiście podkreśla, jak się cieszy, że może przyjechać do Warszawy i po prostu rozmawiać z Wami twarzą w twarz, a nie online, ale będzie brał udział w konferencji online, która jest jakby światową konferencją trenerów, także tam jest właśnie bardzo światowe towarzystwo i po prostu wszyscy najlepsi trenerzy biorą w niej udział i między innymi też Gregor, także bardzo się cieszymy, że taka osoba będzie mogła do nas przyjechać do Warszawy. Okay, so I disconnect finally.
Thank you, Anna. Dziękuję. All the best to Hvala. All the best to Poland, to everybody, and to you. And I'm looking forward to see you soon in Warsaw.
Thank you. Me too. We too. Polish coaches. Say hi. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. No ja też wszystkim dziękuję, którzy wytrzymali. Nie wiem, widzę, że tutaj było kilka osób z nami, także bardzo dziękuję, że byliście. I tyle. I przypominam, że do końca stycznia można się zapisywać do konferencji i że znaczy do końca lutego, a do końca stycznia są trochę niższe, jest niższa cena. I też pamiętajcie, że możecie się zapisać nie tylko trenerzy, ale też i gracze, to znaczy i rodzice, i też pasjonaci tenisa, gracze amatorscy, którzy chcą mieć kontakt z doświadczonymi trenerami. Też Was serdecznie zapraszam. No to jeszcze raz dziękuję za uwagę i do zobaczenia.